All right, good people. If you haven't done so, please make sure that your name is at the top of your packet. Please put your first and last name. The name that you would like to be called goes in parentheses. Today's date is September the 11th. Okay, September the 11th, a very, 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 very memorable day. This is period 4. Please put 4 there. And we're going to write down our assignments that are due on Friday. Okay. We got Q1, week 3, our essential questions, EQ. We're going to answer those. And there are 2. I need to put the second one on the board. Q1, week 3, we have our warm up that's due on Friday. Q1, week 3, we have our homework that's also due on Friday. We do daily, but we're going to turn it in on Friday. We do have our first quiz on Friday. Our first quiz is on real numbers and the real number system. Okay. So we have real numbers in the real number system, ordering numbers. That's what you need to study. Putting numbers on a number line. All of those things is what you need to study this week. Okay. I'm going to give you a chance to write that. Pause for the calls. When you finish writing, please make sure you also write your weekly goal and your homework in your planner. All right, so our homework in our planner, it is September the 11th. We have math is 4th, right? So it is, we need to make sure that we complete our homework. It's labeled Monday and watch help video. Okay. The homework help video is this little, all you got to do is take a picture of this, and that's the video there. I did those for the week. That'll be easier for you to just click on that with your phone and watch the video. You do not have to write. Make sure we write the weekly goal. For me, my weekly goal is to prepare students for the first quiz, okay? That's mine. Yours can be to make sure your homework is complete, to study. You decide what you want your goal to be. If you wasn't sure about your goal last week, and you didn't think you accomplished that goal, you can rewrite that goal. Sometimes that happens for me, that I didn't maybe accomplish it the way I wanted to, and I need to work on it some more. So I maybe have that same goal for a couple weeks. Okay. So you know you the best, and you know what you need to work on. So please make sure you write a very feasible goal. Okay. It's important that you write a goal that's obtainable, not something that's crazy off the hook, like, oh, I'm gonna make 100 on my quiz, unless you've been making 90s and you're pushing yourself to 100. Don't just jump out there and just say, okay, yes, maybe I want to make an A. That's a good one, but 100 is a lot of pressure. That means you can't get anything wrong. So make sure that you make good obtainable goals for yourself. Okay. All right. um the first thing that we're going to do is go over, we already wrote our homework in our planner and we wrote our goal. We need to make sure that we complete the warm up. You don't have to write this part, okay? We're going to write down our EQs, essential questions. I'm going to model today how to estimate numbers on a number line. So we're doing estimating roots, okay? And we're going to do some guided practice, and hopefully we'll be able to do the group assignment, okay? All right, let's write down our essential question. We have 2 of them. Again, I I didn't put the second one on the board. I have to go back and write it up there. The first one is to describe how to approximate or round, okay? Rational and irrational numbers. That's the first one. The second one, describe how to convert fractions, decimals, and percents. Those are our two questions. I'm going to pause for the calls, give you a chance to write, and then we're going to go over the warm up. Okay? And they're right here, down here at the bottom. So please make sure that you read that. And again, Hispanic month it's kind of the middle of the month. It's from September the 15th to October the 15th. Okay? All right, let's look at the warm up. This is a two-part warm up, so I'm going to do, it's 2 steps to this warm up. I'm going to cut myself off in a few minutes. If I didn't finish, then I'll go back and finish it tomorrow. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm going to use this space to show my work. The very first thing that I need to acknowledge is that they want me to find the area of a triangle. The second thing that I need to understand is that the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times the height. I know what the base is. My base is equal to, B is equal to 5. I, however, do not know what the height is. The height is missing. That is what I'm going to find first. Okay? I'm going to find the height first. Any questions about what I've said so far? To find this height, I'm going to use a formula called Pythagorean theorem. I'm going to use a formula called Pythagorean theorem. Well, Ms. Reyes, I've never heard of that before. What is the Pythagorean theorem? The Pythagorean theorem is a formula that you use to find the missing side of a right triangle. So you can only use this formula with right triangles. This is a right triangle because it has one right angle. This is the formula. The formula is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A, B, and C are the sides of a triangle. Well, Miss Reyes, which side is which? I'm going to wait for you to write this down first, and then I'll tell you. Pause for the call. 5. What's 5 squared or 5 times 5? So this is 25. What is 13 squared or 13 times 13? Type it in if you don't know. What's 13 squared or 13 times 13? Say again. Somebody said it, I think. 169. Very good. 169. She like, Jesus. All right. So now we need to isolate A. We got to get A by itself. So in order to get A by itself, I have to move this positive or plus 25. What's the opposite of adding 25? So we're going to subtract 25 on both sides of this equation, okay? On this side, we get 0, and we're left with just the A squared. Type this if you don't know. What's 169 minus 25? What does it give you? 144. Okay? All right, good deal. So now we want to solve for A. What's the opposite of squaring a number? We talked about that last week. Anybody remember? It's in your foldable. No, not dividing. That's close though. The opposite of multiplication is division. The opposite of division is multiplication. What's the opposite of squaring? Square root. Okay. The opposite of cubing is cube root. The opposite of squaring is square root. The opposite of square root is squaring. The opposite of cubing is cube root. They're opposites of each other, okay? All right, so now, what can we multiply to get a squared? A. You can multiply a times itself to give you a squared. So the square root of a squared is just a, because a times a is equal to a squared under the radical. Okay? Let's do the same for the square root of 144. What can we? It's 12. Good, because 12 times 12 is 144. And it has to be a positive 12 because it's height. A height of something can't be a negative number. So the height of this triangle is 12. That's the height. So now you can use 1/2 base times height to figure out the area of this triangle. You have the 1/2. Remember, the base was already there, the 5, times the 12. And you multiply all three of those numbers together. Doesn't matter the order. I can multiply 1/2 times 12, or I can multiply 1/2 times the 5. I would multiply the 1/2 times 12. What's 1/2 of 12? 6. And then what's 6 times 5? Somebody said it. What's 6 times 5? 30. So the area is going to be 30 centimeters to the second power. I'll pause for the calls. We're done writing? Okay. All right. Now we're estimating. This is going to go on page 11 in our notebook. It's estimating roots. So this is page 11. Estimating roots. All right, so I'm going to explain how to estimate roots. Okay, I'm going to explain how to estimate the roots. We're going to do the examples at the bottom. I'm going to do as many as it takes to get you to understand, and then you're going to do some on your own. Okay? All right, I'm going to start off by doing these two. You'll try this one. If it goes well, then you can do the others on your own. If it doesn't, then I'll do some more. Okay? That's what I'm going to start off doing. I am using, and we're going to use, that's why we have our notebook out. We're going to use these perfect squares on the side here. So open up the side that has the perfect squares. Raise your hand if you're not ready. Okay. All right, let's do it, okay? All right, so this is how I'm going to explain each step at a time, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do to estimate this square root, which happens to be an irrational number because the answer is a decimal. Very good, baby. The first thing that we're going to do is use our perfect squares to figure out which two perfect squares is it in between. I've been getting called all. Okay. Somebody's whispering. Are y'all okay over there? Does she understand? Are we good? Okay. All right. So now we're going to look at the perfect squares to see which perfect squares is the square root of 5 in between. So we have the square root of 5. Is it between 1 and 4? No. Is it between 4 and 9? Yes. So we're going to write 4 and 9 here. The square root of 4 and the square root of 9. Because those are the two perfect squares that is in between. Any questions about me performing that very first step? Yes, baby. The papers are here. So when you're absent, just come pick it up here, okay? So you need this one. If you lose it something or you are absent, please come pick up your makeup work here, okay? All right. You. All right, here we go. Okay. So now Now you think, secondly, is the square root of 5 closer to 4 or is it closer to 9? It's closer to 4. It's only one away from 4. So we're going to estimate it to the closest perfect square, which is the square root of 4. Okay, that's the one that is closest to. Now, what is the square root of 4 equal to? 2. So we're going to estimate that the square root of 5 is about, remember that squiggly line is about, we're going to estimate it to be about 2. It's closest to 2. That is the whole number that it is closest to, is 2. Any questions about what I did for the first one? Okay, I'm going to repeat the same steps again, and then you're going to try the third one. Okay? All right, so give me thumbs up. So far, I get it. Sideways, I'm a little confused. And down, I don't understand a thing. Please vote now. Okay. All right, cool beans. All right, so let's look at the square root of 7. Please watch. Okay, so the square root of 7, we're going to look to see which perfect square is it in between. Is the square root of 7 between the square root of 1 and 4? No. Is it between 4 and 9? Yes, 7 is somewhere in here. So again, we're going to write the square root of 4 and the square root of 9. Those are the two perfect squares that the square root of 7 is in between. Any questions about that? Do you understand? Do you? Do you understand, baby? You sure? Do you get it? Do you understand? Do you get it? You got it. Do you understand? Do you understand that part? You understand that part? Do you, baby? Do you? Do you understand? You sure? Yeah. Okay. Do you understand, Jay? Do you understand? Do you understand, baby? Do you all understand here? Are you sure? Do you understand? Do you, baby? Do you? You said yes. What about up here? Do you all understand? Okay. So with this, 7 falls between. It's not between 1 and 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No 7 is there. Between 4 and 9, 4, 5, 6, 7 is there. It's between 4 and 9. Do you understand that? So that's why we have square root of 4 and square root of 9. You okay? We good here? Okay. All right. So now, what is it closest to? Is the square root of 7 closest to 4 or closest to 9? It's closest to 9 because look at how far it's away from 4. 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 away. Okay? For 7, it's only 2 away from 9. So it is closest to the square root of 9. Any questions about how to know which one is closest to? Did you understand that part? Which one is closest to? Jeffrey, y'all good here? Okay. All right, so now, what is the square root of 9 equal to? It is equal to 3, okay? So that means that the square root of 7 is about 3. It's closest to 3. That's what I'm going to round it to because it's closest to the whole number 3. Any questions about what I did there? I'm going to pause and give you a chance to do the next one, okay? All right, so let's look at it, okay? The square root of 10 is between which two of these perfect squares?
9 and 16.
9 and 16. Very good, baby. Raise your hand if you got that part right. You chose 9 and 16. Okay, perfect. So we got the square root of 9 and the square root of 16 is where it falls in between those two perfect squares. Okay, so which one is 10 closest to?
9.
It's closest to 9. So we're going to write the square root of 9. Raise your hand if you got that step right. Okay, perfect. Okay, what is the square root of 9 equal to?
3.
Is equal to 3. What you doing? Why you look so guilty? Are you guilty? What you doing?
Me?
No. Yeah, okay. All right, so this 10 is going to be closest to the whole number 3. That's the whole number that is closest between. Any questions about that? See if you can finish these on your own. If you need assistance, please come over to the table. I'll be more than happy to help you individually if you need assistance. If not, please work on that and complete those. Let's go over it. Let's see what we got. Okay, you said you needed one more.
Yes, please. Not blank.
All right, here we are. Okay, so now we're using our perfect squares in order to estimate the roots. So with our perfect squares, we estimate the roots. This is how that works. We're going to look to see where does the square, what two perfect square do the square root of 17 fall between? The square root of 17 fall between which two perfect squares? Somebody different. Come on, y'all. Somebody else got to know. Justin? 16 and 25. The square root of 16 and the square root of 25. Good job. Okay. Now, is the square root of 17 closer to 16, square root of 16, or closer to square root of 25? 16. Okay. It's closer to the square root of 16. What is the square root of 16 equal to? 4. It's equal to 4. So we are going to estimate that the square root of 17 is about 4 because it's closest to the whole number 4. Any questions? Okay. Out to the side, the two whole numbers that this is in between is between 2 and 3. So out to the side, I'm put between 2 and 3. Which two whole numbers is the square root of 9 in between? Between what? Which two whole numbers? 2 and 3. It's between 2 and 3 again. Which two whole numbers is the square root of 10 in between? 3 and 4. Which two whole numbers is the square root of 17 in between? Huh? No. 4 and 5. Okay. All right. Those are the two whole numbers that is in between. Okay. All right. So let's do the square root of 35. Let's call on somebody different. All right. Table 1. Somebody at table 1. It's that table right here. Okay. Which two perfect squares is the square root of 35 in between? Table 1. Anybody? 25. Very good. It's between 25 and 36. Okay. So we're going to write the square root of 25 and the square root of 36. Good job. Table 2. Okay. Which one is the square root of 35 closest to? 36. Okay. So, okay, that's table 3. 36. Square root. That's okay, baby. 36. Okay. So the square root of 36 is equal to, Justin?
You said what again?
What's the square root of 36 equal to?
6.
6. Good job. So the square root of 35, we're going to estimate it to be about 6 since it's closest to 6. What two whole numbers is the square root of 35 in between table 4? That's your table, Joey.
Oh, that's my table?
Yes.
Oh, 64 and 81. Right?
No, what two whole numbers is it in between? Not two perfect squares.
I don't know.
Okay, that's okay.
I didn't do that.
Ladies, 6 and 7. So, Joey, in order to figure that out, look, you see we have the square root of 25. Okay, oh, other way around. Square root of 25 is 5. So it's between 5 and 6, sorry. And this is 6. All right, so let's do the square root of 79. Which two perfect squares is the square root of 79 between table 5? That's the two of you all. Say again. 64 and 81. Okay, very good. Square root of 64 and the square root of 81. Okay, table 6. That's your table here. Justin, that's your table. Which one is 79 closest to? Is it closest to the square root of 79 closest to the square root of 64 or the square root of 81? 81. The square root of 81 is equal to what? Anybody? 9. So we're going to estimate the square root to about what? 9. And it's between 8 and 9. but it's closest to 9. Okay? All right, let's do the cube root. Let's do the cube root. These are the perfect cubes here. The number cubed, okay? So, let's do these. Perfect cubes. We have 1 times 1 times 1 is equal to 1. So the cube root of 1, let me put the cube root correctly, is equal to 1. We have 2 times 2 times 2. What's 2 times 2 times 2 equal to? 8. So the cube root of 8 is equal to 2. What is 3 times 3 times 3?
27.
It is 27. The cube root of 27 is then what? What's the cube root of 27? 3. Okay, good job. We got 4 times 4 times 4. What's 4 times 4 times 4 equal to? Type 64. The cube root of 64, oops. What's the cube root of 64? 4. We have 5 times 5 times 5, or 5 to the third power. What's 5 times 5 times 5? 125. 125. The cube root of 125 is equal to what? 5. Okay, we got 6 to the third power, or 6 times 6 times 6. What's 6 to the third power equal to? Type it in, guys. Look. 6 to the third power. 6, caret key. Very good. It's 216. That's okay. Cube root of 216 is equal to 6. We got 7 to the third power, or 7 times 7 times 7. 7, caret key 7. 7, caret key 3. My apologies. What's 7 to the third power? Very good. 343. What's the cube root of 343? 7. And finish the others. 8 to the third, 9 to the third, 10 to the third, 11 to the third. I'm going to pause for the calls, give you a chance to complete the table. Okay, so we have 8 to the third power. What's 8 times 8 times 8, or 8 caret key 3? 512. Very good. 512. Cube root of 512 is equal to what? 8. 9 to the third power, or 9 times 9 times 9, what does that equal? 729. What's the cube root of 729? 9. Then we have 10 to the...
It's all mixed up. Like, if you look at it from the 9, it's not on the right one.
What?
Yeah, it's not in the right spot. You forgot to put the 0.
Say again, babe?
The first one is 0.
Oh, we don't need the 0, because it's going to be 0.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, they put it, but in my other examples, I didn't put 0 because it's going to be 0. All right, cube root. Let's do 10 to the third power. Okay, that's going to be 1,000. I don't even know why they put that, but they did, so it is what it is. What's the cube root of 1,000? 10. Good job. 11 to the third power, or 11 times 11 times 11. What is that?
1,331.
Very good. 1,331. The cube root of 1,331 is equal to what? 11. Okay. 11. The ones that you need to kind of know by heart is 1 through 6. Okay. It doesn't hurt to know the others. You probably can get somewhere in there. You probably could get 1 through 10, but you definitely need 1 through 6. All right, so let's look. Let's estimate by using these numbers here, okay? All right, here we go. The cube root of 51. What two perfect cubes is it in between? What two perfect cubes is it between 1 and 8? Okay, is 51 between 1 and 8? No. What about 8 and 27? What about 27 and 64?
Yeah.
It is between the cube root of 27 and the cube root of 64. It's between those two perfect cubes. Which one is it closest to? It's the 64. So the cube root, since the cube root of 64 is equal to what? What's the cube root of 64 equal to?
4.
4. Then this cube root is about 4. Joey, do you understand?
Yeah.
All right, let's try cube root of 14. What two perfect cube roots is the cube root of 14 in between? What two perfect cube roots? 8 and 27, yes. Is 14 closer to the cube root of 8 or the cube root of 27? The 8. Okay, it's closest to this. What's the cube root of 8 equal to? So we're going to estimate our answer to about 2. See if you can do these two on your own, and we're going to paste this down on page 11. See if you can do these two on your own and paste this down on page 11.